Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
That's right. And to avoid lazy negativity, we've decided to make this episode a drinking game.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime we say anything negative at all about each other, about this film, about Dave's sensory toy, you're going to hear this sound.
Doesn't sound quite like that, but close enough.
That sound means we're taking a drink, and we hope you drink along with us.
So pour yourselves a glass as on the eve of Election Day, we look at the most hopeful version of future humans. Other options bounce between robot servitude and wall-to-wall robot sex dolls.
Oh my God, dude.
Cheers, guys.
So true.
This episode is dropping on the day of the election,
Yes.
so I hope you listen.
Yes.
My dog's inside the bedroom. Keep going.
Basically just grab whatever you listen to podcasts on, grab your machete, head out into the wasteland, listen to us while you're defending democracy.
Yeah.
Don't take a machete out there, people. Everyone be sensible.
One of my schools is off on Tuesday. I really wish it was off the day after Election Day.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be way better for me to be, regardless of what happens. But anyway, we are here talking about AI, artificial intelligence. The random year generator spun 2001, a year we've covered before on the podcast, both in franchise face-off form, in summer blockbuster face-off form. And we had a very strange and unusual couple picks for our 3-movie format, where we used to do 3 movies in one episode, which this is a drinking show. That third movie was crazy. But today we decided to do AI, artificial intelligence, which was originally adapted. Well, it was meant to be directed by Stanley Kubrick. He had teetered around with it from the 70s all the way through the 90s until he finally handed it over to Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg directed the final product. And he has the script credit, and he shares a story credit with Ian Watson.
I actually, I thought this was an adaptation the first time I watched it.
Well, it's of a film. It's an adaptation of a short story called Super Toys Last All Summer Long by Brian Aldiss, and this came out in 1969.
I'm not touching that.
What are you laughing at? What's your
Super
joke?
Toys last all summer long.
In 1969. Yeah.
In 69, yes, that's right.
Yeah. In the 60s, they were nuclear.
That's what I thought you were laughing at.
And this movie, of course, stars Haley Joel Osment, and his dad is in this film. And apparently it's not the first film that Haley Joel and his dad were in together. Eugene Osment is in this film.
I mean, he's just standing around on set. He may as well do something.
6 months, apparently. Well, they only had 2.5 months of principal photography, but he had to be around, and who the fuck knows what they...
Who was he? Who was his dad? I'm looking him up now. I don't think Super nerd is what he is.
Sure.
He's credited as super nerd, Eugene Osment.
Super nerd.
Anyway,
that's right.
Sorry, keep going.
Well, if you're new to the show, people, we're actually not going to get to our full-length featured conversation on our movie choice, which is AI, artificial intelligence. This week, we're going to kick that off a little bit. We always like to introduce the year, so we like to tell you what other films.
I'm sorry. It just sounded like you said we're not going to get to our review this week because fucking talk so much.
Guys, the election is tomorrow. It's like I was listening to fucking NPR, and they were like, "Guys, we know it's been an exhausting news cycle. So if you want more of it, you can listen to this pod in the morning, this one in the afternoon, and this one at night." And it was like, "What the fuck?" I thought they were going to apologize for having so much, and instead they were like, "We're doing three times more."
That's what they do. They're like, everyone's terrified, so they're gonna be glued to whatever device they've got. So they're trying to get your business so they can sell ads.
Our business. Hopefully people are listening to this in the future, and I'm sorry about all this election content. Check the show notes. We're going to set up the film year, what other movies came out, a little bit of world events, so we can really set the scene for what was going on. Again, this movie took 30 years until it finally came out. So what happened in the world leading up until this movie finally...
If you're listening to this in the future and you've cracked time travel, just drop us a line on our phone number and let us know how it went tomorrow.
In the future. That'd be great. Yeah. Save us all this time. And we're going to have a little gripe because we are a drinking show. We like to get drinking. So if you hate that part, then knock yourself out and move on. But if you want to get to know us a little bit, stick around. John here is going to introduce our sponsors, and then we're going to get the show on the road.
We have a couple sponsors. You've heard their names before. Carlos Barroso makes the beer. You can find his handle at cbarroso.beer. It's in our show notes. You can go to Instagram yourself and just try to type that in. Good luck. We also have a music artist in residence who provides all the music on this episode and every single episode that goes by the name Dasein, Dasein. All their music is available on all the usual music platforms. You can also find links to their stuff in the show notes. Go to wherever you listen. Just go there, download, like, subscribe. Pretty really amazing shit. Pretty really
nice.
Amazing shit.
So no mini reviews. We like to do mini reviews for new stuff.
Yeah,
nothing this week.
I was sick all week. I was sick. I couldn't get there, and then I was working as well. Being sick. So
some big things came out this past week, and I didn't get to see anything. But it was also like the lead up to Halloween. So I don't know about you, but I will have some things to talk. Some fun rewatches that I in the spirit of Oktoberfest.
Yes.
Some good Halloween movies that I watched last week. So anyway, no mini reviews from here. But I am excited to see. I just want to put this out there. There's a few that came are starting to come out that I'm really. I think that Tom Hanks and Robin Wright and Zemeckis film. I know everybody's kind of already shitting on it. I think it was projected to make like $7 million this weekend. I mean, I wasn't here to see it, so it probably didn't do great. But I want to see it.
I mean, I think a lot of people are shitting on it because they're like, well, how did they make that interesting? You can.
Literally
you
single camera frame, right? In the same room forever.
Yeah. And very specifically, it's that there are two things that I think people are hating on. That and that these are very familiar faces who they're going to de-age throughout the movie. And I think that technology still bothers people.
They go both ways. They de-age and age them.
And do they age them using the same kind of computer-generated technology that they would use to de-age them? Or?
I imagine they probably would, because it'd be bloody culture shock to go to, like, physical makeup.
It would, but God, it looks so good when you do it well. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm excited to see it. Everybody was shitting on it. There's a bunch of movies that are going to be coming out over the next few weeks that I feel like we should definitely try to get in there and see and have a loud voice on. So everybody go see your new fucking movies.
Yeah, see some new movies. And we'll tell you what we actually did see at the very end of our episode. So does anybody have Dave, do you have any news you want to shout out, or do you want to get right into our gripes?
No, I've had a wicked couple of weeks before I got sick, man. I went from, like, sound designing a musical to sound operating a musical with, like, Broadway singers and Emmy winners in it. And last night I was doing projection for a Turkish stand-up comedian.
Damn.
What a week.
How was he? Or them, they.
I was going to from listening to the audience, he was good, but the whole fucking thing was in Turkish, so I don't know. I'd like to say it was funny.
It was
literally Turkish, yeah.
So if he was telling you to fuck off and do your job the way that one of our presidential candidates was doing to their sound guy, you would have literally no idea.
Oh man,
dude! If I had a vote, like that would have been like he'd be done.
If he tried to fillet the microphone, or what?
No, you fillet the microphone all you want. It's a fun gag, but just don't.
That's where Dave said you can fillet your microphone all you want.
Oh god, that's good.
I don't have to clean it. Yeah, just oh, come on.
Your A1 is like, Dave.
Jeff, I think the world needs a little reminder of the year 2001. It doesn't really.
Wait, we got to do our gripes first. We got to do our gripes. I know we're not doing.
Okay.
I know we're not doing any news, but all right. I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Gripe about something other than the election. Do it.
Okay. So in New York City, they're trying to be cultural on the subways. You know what I mean? So instead of like graffiti or like weird ads, they're trying to put like art and poetry all over the subway cars. You know what I mean? So why is it that all the poetry sucks? I mean, sometimes it's like adults who won like a poetry contest, which is kind of sad. So you got to put good poems up there to inspire the people to enrich the kids. But usually the poems are by kids, which is pretty nice. But the most inspiring part of the poem is the pictures next to them. I mean, until you start questioning if little Katie at 8 like drew her own alligator, because that's pretty good for like an 8-year-old alligator. But these poems, they're just not any good, and it makes me really angry. And if that's the best we got, I think we might be killing poetry on the New York City subway.
I would imagine poetry is like all other artistic mediums, and that most suck. Right? It's like really hard to make really good art. Sure, I'll drink.
I mean,
come on. I've made shitty stuff. Like, it's hard to make good stuff.
I'm just waiting to get on the J train, and it's like there once was a man from Nantucket.
Yeah, give me a limerick. Give me a limerick.
A good old,
yeah, I mean, honestly,
a good old limerick.
The handwriting is above you. The handwriting does look like Zodiac's handwriting too. So it's too bad. Dave, you got anything to gripe about, or you want to get into what do you think?
No, let's get into it.
All right.
Let's fucking go.
So 2001, we like to start with the film year. So a lot of big things happen. This is a very pivotal point in cinema. We've talked about 2001 before when we did our summer blockbuster Face Off. What was the highest grossing movie of 2001? This is the worldwide gross movies that came out in 2001. You basically got two. Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. I'm looking at the top 21. Oh, I have a note that Joe Dirt came out in this because I saw that in theaters. That's what I saw.
You can't make me laugh suddenly like that. I'll cough my guts up.
It is without a doubt the beginning of the two giant franchises that tackled, the early several years of the 2000s.
Which one made more? Which one made more?
I'm going with Harry Potter than The Fellowship of the Ring, but is it Harry Potter? Hey!
Yep. Harry Potter would become the second highest grossing movie of all time behind Titanic. It grossed, well, without inflation. We've already talked about The Exorcist, and John loves that stat about The Exorcist. And
that's still crazy to me.
Yeah. You got to listen to our previous show notes to hear it. It's fucking wild.
I think it's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. She couldn't go and see her own movie.
What?
She couldn't go and see her own movie.
Because she was a child?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, well, I hope not.
So Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone would make $974 million worldwide. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring would make $868 million worldwide. And if I remember from the DVD commentary, they were still filming the other two movies, which would come out every year. They would come out sequentially in like November, December. And they actually depended on this budget to finish the other two films. So the other two films might look as good as they look because their initial investment yielded almost $1 billion that they were able to fucking funnel into the, to final filming and then, post-pro. That was according to the DVD commentary.
Have you read the in his biography about how that actually saved Weta Digital? They almost didn't exist. They almost went under.
Wait, I need to read Peter Jackson's biography. He has a biography?
Yes, he does. And he tells the whole story about like forming Weta and how they were supposed to be King Kong first, and it falls through, and they go and pitch.
And The Hobbit.
Lord of the Rings. They went through a fucking cyclone in a helicopter and shit.
Yeah, pretty great confluence of events that led to the green lighting of Lord of the Rings and saving what it did. It is fucking nuts.
It's amazing what desperation can yield.
Apparently, they put every single frame of that movie through the computers.
Fellowship?
Yeah.
I believe it. I love this stat, and I'll just share it because we're talking about this year, and that movie came out. They were contacted by Intel in post-production, I think, for the first one. So that means they were still shooting 2 and 3. Intel just wanted to let them know that the headquarters for Lord of the Rings in general was the highest concentration of computer power on planet Earth at that point.
Oh my God.
The post-production facilities of Lord of the Rings. That's pretty great.
That email on a Monday.
Oh my
it's like,
God.
Yeah, you got the second
hey, guys!
second email is from the fucking power company. Thanks, guys.
We blew another hole in the ozone.
Yeah, just literally shutting down.
They were also non-union, so they didn't pay very much. But hey, you live your life. Okay, Monsters.
Oh my God. That was a non-union shoot?
In New Zealand. Yeah,
Yeah, but I figured they had their own unions over there.
No!
No,
Sean Astin has talked about how they barely paid him. Yeah, it all went into their energy bills.
Wow.
Monsters, Inc. came in at number 3 and become the highest grossing digital film of all time, and the 6th highest grossing film of all time. The big money started coming in after 2001, with the exception of the other shit we talked about with inflation, whatever. Shrek would come in at number 4. Now, Shrek would be the highest grossing summer film because Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings all came out in the late fall / early winter. So Shrek was the highest grossing summer movie this year, and it did not make it out of the first round of our summer blockbuster face-off.
I was going to say, Matt from Mad Mark Movie Show is sitting somewhere on his couch seething right now.
Justice for Shrek. Was that Mission Impossible 2 that beat it? Justice for Shrek.
Even I was offended.
Yeah.
Yeah, even you were offended. That's right. Ocean's 11, which is the beginning of another franchise, comes in at number 5 with $450 million. And to round out the top 10, Pearl Harbor, The Mummy Returns, Jurassic Park 3, The Planet of the Apes reboot, and Hannibal come in at number 10. So a lot of franchise films in there, as you can hear. A couple other ones. Go ahead.
You know something really funny? John can go first.
Sure. All right. The first movie of one of my favorite shitty franchises came out this year, and I say shitty in quotes because you guys know I love it so much, and I think they're fun movies. Which was
Fast and the Furious comes in at number 19, $207 million.
Oh, come on. Who would have projected, if you saw that in the theater, which I did, I saw it in theaters like twice when it came out, who would have thought they would be on fucking 11?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's insane. They are fucking killing
it. If they ever fucking finish it, could they hurry up, please? That was a cliffhanger.
Oh, come on. I want to direct like 15. Give me a chance.
No, I want them to make the next one because it ended on a big fucking cliffhanger and I want to know what happened. But
there you go.
2 of the movies that he just mentioned, Spielberg turned down directing to do this film that we're doing tonight.
Wait, let me Jurassic Park 3 and Harry Potter for sure.
Yes. He was offered both of them, asked to direct both, and he turned them down to do AI.
A couple other fun.
I looked on his IMDb the other day, you guys, and he has 46 projects upcoming.
Well, because the producer thing. You know what? He actually, they say like
at any moment.
His producer credit credits is over 1,000.
He had a company, so I mean, I know he touched a lot of shit, but that is the way.
Hey, careful how you say that. He touched a lot of shit.
Oh, come on.
Also, guys, I'm pissed off because I was like, what is that Will Smith, like, futuristic movie? And I looked at Will Smith, and it says known for producer. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Will Smith, like the rapper Will Smith, the Oscar winner, slap Chris Rock.
The ongoing rant from my co-host, Jeff Ostermueller, is that IMDb favors production credits.
He is known for producing.
Over everything else.
Actually, you know what, though? We got to pour one out because it says he's listed for producing, or he's known for producing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But you know who actually produced Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that got him on board?
The late, great, first music ever played on the fucking moon, Mr. Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones just passed away. Pour one out for Quincy.
God damn, dude, so good. I didn't realize that riff from Austin Powers was his. Oh
yes, well, because he has him in his movie, doesn't he?
Totally sampled that from Austin Powers. Yes. Oh, is he in the movie? And I just totally fucking missed that. Anyway,
I can't remember.
Right,
I thought isn't he conducting in Austin Powers 3? Remember they show everybody and Steven Spielberg's directing?
God, I knew you were gonna say because your favorite. That is your favorite Austin Powers movie. It's fucking.
No, I don't know.
It's the weakest one.
Shut up, Dave. Fuck you, Dave.
Blondie.
Michael Caine. The one was all 6s and 7s. A couple other movies that made a lot of money. Rush Hour 2, A Beautiful Mind, which would go on to win Best Picture here this year.
Rush Hour 2, wait, shout out. Did you guys think you were going to see a robot Chris Rock in this movie? I had no idea that was coming. You know what I'm talking about?
Robot Chris Rock, yes, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
The comedian. He's listed as like the comedian, yeah.
Oh, my God, that's so funny.
The second American Pie movie, Bridget Jones's Diary, Spirited Away, shout out to Joe. Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Others, I watched for Halloween last year. And then, of course, Was It Really That Bad? Vanilla Sky made over $200 million. Cameron Crowe, Cameron Diaz, and, of course, Tom Cruise. We watched that. Was It Really So Bad? And we were very intoxicated. We did not like that movie. The other 2 movies we talked about were, of course, Amelie and The Devil's Backbone. Those are the ones.
I recall I didn't mind that
movie. You've got a list. Which one? Vanilla Sky? Yeah, I don't think you minded it that much. Hey, come on. There's things there to love. And it's based on a really good, I think, Argentinian movie. You have the numbers right there in front of you. 2 very famous kind of, I won't call them like rom-coms, but they're in that like family rom-com romance world. Where did Princess Diaries and Legally Blonde land on that list? Those are very successful.
I think I actually closed the list. No, I minimized it. I thought...
All right, well, good talk.
Yep.
Wait, no, I still have it up somewhere. Oh no, this is the Palme d'Or. I
Black
have no
Hawk
idea
Down was on there.
I have no idea who won the Palme d'Or. Here it is. Worldwide grosses. A Knight's Tale is number 37. Wait, Princess Diaries number 27, $165 million. Black Hawk Down, 172.
Wow. How is Princess Diaries above Knight's Tale? That movie rocks.
I totally buy that.
Above both of them is Moulin Rouge at 179, which seems low for it, to be honest. Shallow Hal
I know. Fucking musicals.
Did okay in there.
I called it.
Training Day, I Am Sam.
All right, we're just reading names of people right now.
Just naming movies, yeah. That's it. Any other movies?
We'll also call out.
Royal
I want to call
Tenenbaums?
out Y Tu Mama también, Royal Tenenbaums. That's worth mentioning.
Not another teen movie.
I love the Mummy franchise. Mummy franchise. So Mummy Returns came out this year, which is fucking awesome.
That was a great one.
Who is it? Who made the piano teacher? Heineke's piano teacher with
sure.
Yeah, I mean, what's her name? Isabelle Huppert, fucking amazing. Super Troopers had a big impact.
My
generation.
I didn't see that until years later. I didn't see that until years later. I saw Beer Fest first.
Oh, for sure.
Watched it, man.
Yeah, Beer Fest
you got
remain my favorite.
Donnie Darko.
Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, which a lot of people kind of just like overlook. Gosford Park, mentioned that. And then Blow. I don't think you mentioned that one yet, which I thought was really good.
We almost did Blow, yeah.
We did almost do Blow. And then there was just Mulholland Drive.
Let's just casually mention. Fucking hell.
David Lynch's Andrew Dominic has gone on record saying that he thinks Mulholland Drive is still the most important movie made in this century because of the barriers it broke and what it allowed people to think about what film could do moving forward. Okay. That movie's fucking awesome and scary.
You just went on record saying we almost did Blow.
I would never do that. I've never, ever done that and enjoyed it. I've never done it.
Never.
All right.
Crocodile Dundee in L.A. was this week, Dave.
I wouldn't do it. This year. It wasn't huge.
So Beautiful Mind and director Ron Howard would win Oscars. Denzel Washington and Halle Berry would both win actor and actress. Denzel beating Russell Crowe because of Gladiator, probably the Gladiator hangover. So Training Day for Denzel and Halle Berry for Monsters Ball is the first time two non-white actors would win, or actors of color would win lead actor and actress in the same year. Jim Broadbent would win supporting for Iris, beating Ian McKellen and some other big ones. And
he had a big year because he's also in Moulin Rouge.
And he actually won the BAFTA for Moulin Rouge. And then Jennifer Connelly. We gotta love some Jennifer Connelly. Won for Beautiful Mind.
Boy.
And Helen Mirren won the BAFTA for Gosford Park. But this is big, and I said this in the last time we did the 2001 breakdown. Gosford Park came out this year, as we talked about, and that was written by Julian Fellows. So he may have very well gotten the Downton Abbey green light, because he was an Oscar winner thanks to writing Gosford Park that came out this year. All right,
Probably didn't hurt.
No. Okay, we said enough movies, so you ready to do some world events before we segue into
please, let's do it.
Conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
So, 9/11 happened this year.
Sure.
That was the big one for 2001, as you know.
And here's a list of jokes I've got about it. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Knock, knock.
No.
I was very surprised.
Terrible,
Pete Davidson, whenever he does a roast, it's unbelievable how many people do 9/11 jokes about his father. It's really wild. It's really wild.
Well, he does so many about it. So I guess he's opened the gates to it. He tries to make light of it. Obviously, it was a very serious event, but we all lived in New York. If anyone, lived or live still in New York, so that is still taken very seriously over there. We all know people whose families were directly affected by it.
Yeah.
Man, shit.
There are also a lot of massacres and earthquakes and plane crashes and disasters. So I'm going to kind of put those off to the side because there were a lot. And that is going to tell a lot about the year, but a lot of other stuff happened too. First things first, this year.
Was there at least a good wine or something?
A good wine?
What is good about this year?
A good wine. Yeah, the Pinots were great this year. I don't know. Well, one thing that's really interesting, I kind of needed a refresher on, is that so every year in America, Congress is actually sworn in 2 weeks before the presidential inauguration. So Congress actually certified the George W. Bush presidential win, because it was in such disarray, and Al Gore sort of backed out and ceded, he for the sake of the country, even though there were basically 10,000 votes in a very liberal district, and he lost by 500 in Florida. Pretty fucked up. I can only imagine what would have happened to the world if things were different. But the year basically started, and George W. Bush was still not officially the president-elect. Anyway, so that was really fun. But right after that, Disney Downtown opens in Disneyland Resort. It is located between Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure, which opened in 2001. The 300,000 square foot site includes restaurants, nightclubs, and shops, as well as movie theaters.
Yeah. They're how can we get people to spend more money on the way to Disneyland?
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's see. The Super Bowl this year, the Baltimore Ravens just fucking destroyed the Giants 34-7. That was really fun in my house, for sure.
That's embarrassing.
The Netherlands legalized euthanasia in 2001. Pretty weird.
Ooh, God
John,
damn.
John, April 11th, Joe Dirt premiered. Put that in my notes. But in May, the first ever Apple store opens. 2001.
Oh, wow. Wow.
About that?
Big deal.
Wouldn't you be a bit
Wikipedia.
nervous? You'd be a bit nervous sitting around the table with your family after, the week after euthanasia. It's like,
In the Netherlands. You're looking
and,
around
and
like,
you're like, hey, feeling pops? I'm fine. Nothing wrong.
yeah.
Nothing hurts.
Are you
Let's
gonna
go buy a computer.
Are you going to midsummer me? Wikipedia launches in 2001. The Seattle Mariners
Oh.
win a record 115 games this year, but they would not make it a.
2001.
The Seattle Mariner would win 115 games, a record for the MLB, but they would not get to the World Series. The Yankees would go into the World Series, and Mariano Rivera blew that save against the
Oh,
Diamondbacks.
I was going to say, did they choke in that one too?
Oh.
The Department of Homeland Security is founded in 2001, and Bush signs the Patriot Act in 2001.
Oh, I know those
So
guys
that's-
well.
Those are
Uh,
two great things.
oof.
And also, the death
Doing a great job,
spiral
just
of
in case you're listening.
Napster begins. So Napster, people, is where we used to get illegal music. And then Metallica and others and lawyers decided that they should be compensated for their work, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Way to out us, Jeff. Way to throw us under the
Yeah,
wheels.
we all did.
It's fucking...
Kazaa, BearShare, LimeWire. We had them all for sure. Also, Spotify doesn't pay their people anyway. So, who knows what if it was better or not.
Yeah,
But at least
dude.
they promote
What the
tours.
fuck?
Let's see.
Yeah,
The
when
Rhode Island
Ticketmaster
quarter
gets them.
dollar was in circulation. Do you remember when they did the states, like ahead of the 2000 census? Like all the quarters had like states on the back, and some people thought they were really cool to collect all 50.
Yeah.
Oh, when I first got here, my dad came over and he was collecting those. He came over.
They're fun.
I did
I
too.
still like it when I
I
see
did
the
too, me
state
too.
quarter.
He collected
My-
them and took them back for my nan.
My grandpa got me like
It's
the little
fun.
book for it. I got pretty close to 50 if I didn't give up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
This is guys.
Hmm?
John's from Concord, North Carolina here, and Dave and I have both been to Concord, North Carolina. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the Pepsi 400 at the Daytona International Speedway in the first NASCAR Nextel Cup Series event since the death of his father in February of 2001. So it's a very emotional year for the Earnhardts. Dale Earnhardt was a very
Is he-
famous driver who
Go
died
Dale!
Is he from the
on
Netherlands?
the track. Uh,
Jesus.
yeah, this was not legal in America, Dave.
Guys, he is a titan where I am from. I mean, so famous, so respected.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
dude, I figured
Earnhardt
NASCAR was
Incorporated.
a thing when we were down there, and I was like, oh, what's to do around NASCAR Museum, NASCAR Museum, NASCAR
Yeah.
Museum? It's like,
Well, that's where NASCAR is like
The F1
headquartered.
guys, even they fucking love it too, dude. They fucking
Yeah,
love
well,
Dale
yeah.
Earnhardt. It's like,
I drove by the
it's, you
Pepsi
know,
well
6.
respected.
it's great.
I drove by the,
Brings
I
people
drove,
together.
so this is the Pepsi 4, but I drove by the Pepsi 6 one time heading to a job in Charlotte, and holy shit, that our stadium is huge.
It
There
would
were
have been
so many
the
shirtless people.
Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola 600.
There were so many shirtless people in the parking lot. They
Oh,
sell,
yeah.
they
A
like,
lot of RVs.
they sold,
lot of
oh yeah,
Trump
there were
votes.
so many RVs.
You buy your T-shirt there.
I saw so many shirtless people like holding babies and beers. It was really wild.
A whole bunch
Speaking-
of lake bodies, I call them.
Speaking of Concorde, the Concorde is brought back into service, this Concorde with an E, nearly a year after the July 2000 crash that halted all the Concords. So I feel like Concorde comes up in all these things. Everybody fucking loved the Concorde. It was so fast.
It didn't stay in service
Concord
long.
was also the filming location of Shallow Hal.
Which came out this year.
Yeah, dude.
It was so fast.
We made it.
Do you remember when one of like the plot twists of Shallow Hal was that Jason Alexander had like a pig tail? Like he actually had like a pig, like you
Mhm.
don't remember that in Shallow Hal?
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Apple
And I think,
Computer.
Didn't
Sorry.
Foot Fist what? Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm way off. Samsonite, keep going.
Apple Computer unveils the
Whoa, sorry.
iPod.
My
Portable-
internet just went psycho.
John, I'm in the middle of.
I'm here. I'm here. My internet I just totally lost you for like 5 seconds. Keep going.
No, but we heard you very clearly. So whenever you lose us, just try to talk your way through the episode. It'd be really great. Apple Computer
I'll just say,
unveils.
fuck you, Jeff, over and over and over again. While you, yeah. All right.
What did I get buzzed for?
Apple Computer unveils the iPad. Sorry, fuck. Apple Computer. Apple Computer unveils the iPod portable music player. It has a 5 gigabyte hard drive and FireWire ports. The price is $399 in 2001.
That's
Holy
fucking
shit.
cheap.
God damn, dude.
For
Fucking
five, cheap for
cheap.
5 gigabytes of storage?
I bought the first hard drive for the Commodore Amiga when I had it, and it was $799. What? Yeah, I get buzzed for being old. It was $799, and it was 20 megabytes.
Megabytes.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
This is back when TVs costed
fucking heard me.
thousands of dollars. This is back-
20 fucking megabytes.
Remember we would go back in time where like an egg cost a nickel and a vacuum cost $90. It's just like,
Yeah.
Okay,
Enjoy your 16 megabyte fucking flash drive.
we're having fun going through all these
Oh
things.
my God.
Okay,
Really, before NAFTA really like kicked in.
because I have
Keep going.
I have like 4 more, and then we can get to our movie. Microsoft, the U.S. Department of Justice, and 9 U.S. states reach an agreement in their antitrust case. That is right, the antitrust case of Microsoft. Microsoft will license Windows uniformly and can't make exclusive agreements that force companies to stop using certain software products. It's really too bad when the Gates Foundation does so well. They do so much good work, and you realize that they were just as fucked as everybody else, too.
I mean, yeah.
he's
but
notoriously ruthless, right?
I thought you were going to say Microsoft struck an agreement with the 9 states that Bill Gates wouldn't push the button that turns on the mind control shit they've injected.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the thing. You said it's hilarious. You're like, he's ruthless, right? I don't know. You've seen him dance, right? Have you ever seen
I
the clip
have
of
not.
like him and
I
Woz
have
and all of
not.
them at like one of those early Microsoft events where they like start dancing on stage?
No,
Look it
I've,
up right now.
I've seen the
You
clip
have
of
to
him losing his shit when the Windows 98 thing happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm watching
It's horrible, right? How good
4
is that?
versions.
How good is it? Oh,
Just
watch all
fucking
4. Get
crush
all
it.
the angles. Get all the angles. Okay. Almost done. 3 more. Enron Corporation,
Oh my God.
located in Houston, Texas,
Oh, they sound
files
fun.
for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection before a New York court. This is 5 days after Dynegy's cancellation of a U.S. $8.4 million buyout offer. This is the largest U.S. bankruptcy at the time. And let me tell you, Enron had no issues with their business practices. That's for sure.
So
Everything
many
wa-
good. What's that
Everything
one?
went well.
There's that one really great documentary on it. It's fantastic. When we were in New York, right when I first moved there was a play that was still going.
Yeah, Enron play, yeah.
Do you remember that play? Yeah, it was very successful. Fucking crazy.
George Harrison, the Beatle, dies in Hollywood, California at the age of 58. He was suffering from lung cancer, and he was working on the Beatles' Love concept, parkour, not parkour. What the fuck was that called? Cirque
For
show.
Las Vegas.
Cirque du
Cirque
Soleil
show.
show.
Yeah.
And he helped, the Beatles' Love album is John's favorite Beatles album.
Is that
he's
still
working on
running?
that.
The show?
Yes,
I think it's
true.
still running.
True.
I actually don't think so, Dave. And
Oh.
then last but not least, people, the Leaning Tower of Pisa reopens after 11 years off and $27 million spent to stabilize it without fixing its famous lean. So for people
Yeah.
like me who are like, how does the Tower of Pisa stay up so tall? It stays up with $27 million and 11 years of trying to figure out how to keep it the fuck up. That's how it's still
That's like
standing.
6
Pizza
iPods.
2. Linear than
to
before.
stay.
John's buzz count. John, this is a record. You're going to get in double digits for the first time in a while. And I'm pretty low.
Fuck you, Jeff.
Yeah,
All right, people, that's it. That's plenty of conversation about 2001. I think it's about time we get into AI, Steven Spielberg, 2001. But based on everything we just said, we've noticed a lot of the top movies were bridges. So it's the beginning of the big money, a lot of franchises that started this year. And when it comes to the world events, you have 9/11, which changed everything. So it's a very pivotal year. So I think it's pretty cool that AI is Steven Spielberg taking over for Stanley Kubrick and talking about artificial intelligence, which is still relevant now. So hopefully everybody can catch the nexus of all of this shit during our 14 minutes of fucking rambling about this shit. So AI, as always, this is how it's going to work as we segue into the film itself. I'm going to read the IMDb description to take advantage of John's IMDb Pro, and we are going to pass it along. What you've been watching. Was this your first time seeing it? Was it a rewatch? And then get into our longer featured conversation about AI, artificial intelligence. Are you boys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As
let's
we
go.
get started in here, did you all rent this, or did you guys have some kind of app that had this? P Plus, maybe? Dave, you have
Dave
P
and
Plus.
I
I have
both
Paramount because
have
I'm a
Paramount.
You
junkie.
Plus.
motherfuckers! This is like our 4th Paramount Plus in a row. I basically should have just paid for Paramount Plus, and I would have been great for the month.
Yeah.
You're on my
silent.
Netflix, right?
You're so silent. No, I'm off your Netflix.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We talked about this. Talked about this.
It's like, no,
I
I
shared my
still
Disney
live with
Plus
him.
with you. I shared my Disney Plus with you, which I get for free on my credit
Well,
card. Come on.
They're coming for you too, so.
Guys, you know what's smart, by the way? My credit card and Angela, we purposefully got different credit cards that each offer different streaming services. It's pretty great.
Nice.
Wow.
Got to game the system.
Mine
people.
just gives me free travel, so.
We get both, I think. I don't know. Fuck it. AI. Here we go. IMDb description. 2 hours, 26 minutes. A highly advanced robotic boy longs to become, quote, real, end quote, so that he can regain the love of his human mother. All right, let's send it around the horn. Had anybody seen this before? This is actually a first watch for me. I feel like, John, you said it was a first watch for you. Dave?
I've seen this before when I was way younger.
Do you remember it at all?
Yes, I hated it. When I was way younger.
I had seen part of it before, and I think I just turned it off. I don't do often. I think I just stopped watching it at some point. Yeah.
I didn't. I was in that thing where sci-fi equals a certain thing. I was in that age, and it just didn't do it for me, and I didn't like it, and I didn't like the ending, and I didn't like any of that stuff. And I'm so glad I rewatched it.
All right.
Take it away.
Yeah, let's go.
Dude, like, for real, I was not in the right frame of mind to appreciate the story, the references, the themes that run through this thing. Jude Law, is he ever not awesome?
He's always awesome.
The Law, baby.
I will say for anyone who's about to pick this up and watch it, don't wait for the AI to go nuts and start killing people. This is science fiction, not real life.
I don't know.
They do. There's a couple of times where they make it seem like things are going to go off the rails, and it goes off the rails in a different way than you're expecting. And as an older watcher, I appreciated that. But there's
did anybody think the Flesh Fairs were going to have different kinds of entertainment? Just from the
Steven Spielberg, it's like there were a couple times where it's like, damn it, I wish Kubrick directed those bits. You know?
Well, apparently that was Spielberg's idea. Yeah. The Flesh Fair.
So this is just to jump in. This is really funny because a lot of people were like, "Damn it, Steve, your ending," and he was like, "This is literally exactly what Stanley Kubrick wanted." And anytime people were like, "I like the Stanley Kubrick parts of the movie," those are always the Spielberg parts of the movie. So ironically, Steven Spielberg even said, "This needs you," and so Kubrick wanted this to be softer and positive and optimistic. He didn't want it to be A Clockwork Orange. Spielberg almost wanted it. So there's a lot of contention when it comes to that. So
yeah,
Dave,
apparently a lot of the original, like the almost the fairy tale sequence at the beginning, is all Kubrick, and then Spielberg took over for some of the nasty parts. So a lot of Kubrick.
Dirty Grandpa, starring Robert De Niro and Steven Spielberg.
Let's state up front that Steven Spielberg is credited with the screenplay alone. Yeah. He has not been credited. I just wanted to look this up because I thought it was interesting. Like a lot of directors, of course, he influences and there might be a credit associated with story or a co-screenwriter credit. But the last time that he had been credited with a solo screenplay credit was Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And before that was Close Encounters. So he made all these amazing movies in between.
Well, hang on.
I want to say he shouldn't do that anymore, but I fucking love Close Encounters. So damn it, he's
yeah.
And of course, like all of his like shorts and stuff like that. This is the annoying thing about this movie, is that if you're in the film world at all, you do know that at one point it was a Stanley Kubrick production, and you kind of can't divorce yourself from thinking about the filmmakers, which it's almost frustrating when you feel like you're doing that. Like, I really wish I could have just watched the movie and not known that, which is kind of impossible to do. There is the Spielberg sentimentality that is a part of this. He can't get away with it. Some of it is John Williams music. Some of it is the camera movement.
He can't get away from it. He can't get away from it, right?
From it. Yeah, thank you. He can't get away with it for sure. He can't get away from it. There's a whimsical nature to the child's perspective that even if Stanley Kubrick, and I'm kind of frustrated personally, you guys, because I'm listening to a wonderful biography on Stanley Kubrick, and I just haven't gotten to AI yet. I'm just like, I feel like I'm not as useful as I would be like a week from now when I'm listening. But even if Stanley Kubrick was saying, and I don't know where you read that, Jeff, that he wanted it to maybe be more positive, I just think he would have had a more cynical, kind of a colder camera. There's just literally the way he would have captured all of this. There would have maybe been a little bit more distance between us and the characters that Steven doesn't like. He likes you to get in there and really feel like you're experiencing it from the most vulnerable person's point of view. That's kind of where he usually operates from. And if you love that, you're going to love this because it feels like a very personal Spielberg movie, which he doesn't make a lot of those.
Yeah.
And I feel like this one, like, they really tapped into all that childhood trauma that we've talked about before, that anyone who knows about his life, he really finds a way to bring that in usefully to a lot of his films. And the crux of this story is about this child desperately trying to do whatever it takes so that he can be loved by a parent who abandoned him.
It's Pinocchio.
Anyone
it's
who knows his
basically
story,
Pinocchio.
that's that. Yeah, it is Pinocchio. There are these, I guess this is the thing that I would love to ask Kubrick if he was still developing this, because of course they both came from the same short story, and Kubrick literally gave him the project because he thought Steven would be better for it, because Kubrick didn't think the computer generated images were far enough along, because he did not want to use a live actor for the main boy.
Yes.
So he gave it to Steven Spielberg. But what I wish I could ask Kubrick is,
there was a robot technician that worked on this for 2 years before he handed it over too. They were going to build that,
which is awesome. Yeah, and I'm very curious to know what it would have been like.
Instead, they built Teddy.
That's cool. Yeah, there's so many people that worked on
Teddy. Is great.
Teddy's my
Teddy
favorite.
is great.
I wish it was
Ted.
Ted
Ask
from
Kubrick
Ted,
was,
but yeah.
God damn it, you guys! I forgot what I was going to say.
I know.
It's Dave's fault. Dave, this is it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything.
What was I going to ask him? I was going to ask him.
Kubrick didn't believe a real boy.
What were you going to ask Kubrick during that seance?
He passed it along because he didn't think the check was going to be there. And
He passed
it
and
off
there was
to
something
Steve
about,
because he thought he'd be better for it.
Shit. There was something about the optimism and the child's perspective that I really did just want to. God damn it, I can't. I'm just going to blurt it out when I think of it, because
okay,
I'm sure I'll think of it soon.
We'll come back to that.
Going.
So make sure you listen to the whole episode just in case he remembers in 2 minutes.
Okay,
Jeff,
I remember.
What did you think?
I remember that John hadn't seen this. I couldn't remember if Dave had or had not, but I just assumed he had. And so Dave, I was hoping you hated it the first time and loved it the second time. I was hoping it so much, and I'm so glad. I'm serious. I was like, while I was watching the movie, I was like, I hope Dave fucking hated it the first time and loves it the rewatch. I hope it for sure. And John, I was hoping that you loved this movie. I was hoping so much that you loved this movie, because I didn't like this movie at all. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
And it's, well, I shouldn't say I didn't like it at all. We try on the podcast, or at least I do, not to say it bored me. It's just narratively thin. I'm glad you were swept away. Every single frame of this movie, they tell me he's a boy who wants his mother to love him, and that's it. That's what I get for 2.5 hours, and it was driving me fucking insane. With the good son thing at the beginning, where it was like him or the other boy, I was like, if this is the whole movie, I'm actually gonna send anthrax to both of you. Go ahead, John.
It's exactly what you're saying, which is, I wanted to ask Kubrick, did you intend on this being an adventure film? Because it feels like Steven kind of couldn't help himself, because he's so good at adventure narratives. And generally speaking, adventure narratives have very little to do with the character. They're all plot. The character doesn't really need to change that much, which this character doesn't really change that much. And I wonder if Kubrick would have also embraced that, or if that is just in Spielberg's DNA and he can't get away from it. Because what you're saying is the plot, and it just changes the shape of the scenario around it, changes where he is, but it's the exact same thing throughout. And it does make me wonder if, like, there's just not as much exploration of, more importantly, sorry, and I'll shut the fuck up after this. The best sci-fi movies, and I've made this point before, explore a character, and in exploring a character, explore us. And I didn't feel like I peeled much of my own onion, because the very simple fact that this child wanted to be loved didn't really go beyond that. I don't really feel like I saw the darker side of that. I don't really feel like I saw the Anyway, keep going. That's all I wanted to
Anyway,
ask.
I hope people that really wanted to listen to a long conversation about AI here, we're gonna get into it because I have optimism and that we're gonna have a good conversation and that Dave, you're gonna save this fucking show because I feel like what Steve wanted. All these critics, Roger Ebert, same thing. He rewatched it and then he loved it. So I feel like maybe John and I just have to shake this off. We just have to shake it off, and we have to know. And I think John, you say like adventure versus quest. Adventure is Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, he's on an adventure. He doesn't really learn a lot, but the plot is great and things are great at the end. And then a quest is Frodo. You know, he changes so much by the end of it. This. I don't want to knock it. There's so much that I want to love about it. What I would just say is this. I think what every movie's different. If this one, everything wants to be like he wants to love his mom, he wants to be loved by his mom, he wants to be a real boy, he wants to be Pinocchio, that's fine. I think what's best is if I don't know that's really what this whole movie's been about the whole time until the end, and then it's been about that the whole time. I think if you can pull that off, that's how you get a really good adventure meets sci-fi, whatever thing. But it was just so obvious, and so that by the end, I knew he wasn't going to succeed. And so, like, I didn't know what I was rooting for. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave, why did it ring so true for you this time? What was it about it that really got you?
The first time I watched it, I was so into sci-fi, and I was a lot younger, and I wasn't looking for the Pinocchio allegories all the way through it. And the theme is consistent, like right down to like haunted forests and all that sort of stuff. And then there's even a whale as he's going through like Coney Island briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they really stuck to their guns in that thing, and it is a journey. This time on the rewatch, it reminded me a little bit of Beau is Afraid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why is John
the YouTube
laughing?
clip right there. that's
AI equals Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
it did.
Good.
It's just as Beau is Afraid with robots.
So if you're listening and you're not one of the 20 people that went to the theaters and saw it like us, Beau is Afraid is a fantastic movie by Ari Aster that
that's more people saw Joker
and
too.
They gave everything they had for this movie. They gave everything for Beau is Afraid, and nobody saw it. Right. Go on.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was I caught a lot of the things I missed, or maybe my perspectives have changed. I don't know. As an older watcher, I really fucking enjoy. I got caught up in it. Also, it was the first time watch. I was just sitting there with my wife watching it, and when they got to the end, and that last 7 minutes, which I want to talk about as well, it's basically like her jaw was on her chest because she did not see that coming at all.
Therese, are you right?
Yeah. No, my other wife.
I think.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think unfortunately I'm going to go on record as I have said before. I think Steven sometimes likes showing the monster too much, and he's a genius. So of course, I'm not. Who am I to criticize him? But I kind of felt the same way about this movie that I did about Close Encounters, which was before Poltergeist was the previous last credit that he wrote the screenplay for. As soon as those aliens showed up, there was a bit of me that was like, I no longer give a shit. Like I don't really care.
Wait, but Close Encounters, they waited for a while.
Were those the same guys from Indiana Jones? Was it?
Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
It's literally the same aliens.
Wait. Close Encounters, they don't show the aliens until the end.
You know how I feel about endings, Jeff. You can ruin a movie for me if you don't. I love the build up. Not that this is where I could talk about. But
then it happens, and then you can go up. You weren't there on our rewatch. We rewatched it recently, John. Dave and I talked about it. We got good feedback.
Oh, did you really?
And there is one version of that where they do show the aliens completely.
I'm just saying. I feel like. All right, so I was frustrated that he showed the aliens. I was even more frustrated when I realized the narrator of this entire story was a fucking alien. That pissed me off. I was like genuinely like, what?
Yeah. Is there a robot that wants to be a real boy and it's narrated by an alien?
There was just again like the sentimentality was just like it was almost poisonous that like these, and maybe this is literally lifted from the short story and I'm criticizing the story and not the movie that Spielberg made, but the reverence that the aliens had for the genius of the human race was so gushy that I just couldn't, I don't know. There was something about it that took away from what I did think was actually kind of an interesting tail end for his character, that he had to actually choose, is it worth to have some ephemeral version of this and ultimately sacrifice my relationship with her than to not have any fulfillment at all, to love and loss versus not. I did enjoy that was the wrap up of his journey. But like, let me give you a very specific example. When the Coney Island Ferris wheel falls on them, as it's falling, at least for me, you can't help but think that, like, you're listening to John Williams, beautiful music is always beautiful in all of Stevens' films. And there's not this catastrophic, dramatic turn. There's not a cue there that says, oh no, this terrible thing is happening. So as this falls on top of them and Teddy says, we're in a cage, it's this beautiful moment. And I was like, wow, this is a really fun false resolution. What's happening? I was curious. I was incited. I leaned forward, if you will. And then they have this wonderful pullout. With pulling away. And I do not think Kubrick would have used the voiceover there. And I'm just totally bullshitting here. This is me just absolute speculation.
Kubrick loves his voiceovers.
I think that moment would have been exponentially more powerful if they just would have pulled away and come back on the ice. And we would have been able to not talk, have a form of communication with those aliens. If the entire thing had been played in silence, there would have been a mystery. It would have changed the tone of the ending. It would have felt more ominous that the boy was just like responding to what was put in front of him, and there wasn't so much love and affection and sentimentality. So that was something that really didn't work for me.
I agree with you. I agree with you, and totally. We gotta start trying to find some optimism here. I do think it is ironic though that where he didn't use voiceover, which would be would be a good parallel, is 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001, of course, this year that it came out, and that movie came out in 1968, which was probably while the short story was being written. Let's get that full circle. I agree with you 100%, but we can't just keep shitting on this movie the whole entire time. So Dave, pick us up here. What?
Also, what we can fucking celebrate is that nobody fucking creates a world like Spielberg. I mean,
oh my god,
it's a beautiful world. I wish it was cooler. I wish it was cooler. But
when we got to that last sequence and he's in the room with his mother, I don't think I've ever seen anything so fucking golden on film. Like the light they used on that was just absolutely beautiful. Like the color balance was spot on.
It was cool the way you could see the aliens like almost step into this world that we know
also,
to be
I don't know
real,
whether you noticed,
we thought was real, but you could see it through this imaginary like lens kind of thing. That was pretty cool.
This time I noticed for the first time the aliens are electronic. If you look in,
I guess I felt like it was almost like the what do they call the stuff in Ex Machina? Bio. He has a word for his biotech. It's like a organic technology,
right,
like the fiber optics are organic.
Orga and Mecha.
I can't remember. It kind of reminded me of that. Like I didn't think they were straight up mecha machines. I thought that they were maybe something in between.
I mean, they were playing images from his memory on their face. It's like they're electronic.
I want to shit about specific things. I want to shit really tiny shitty things. You got to be cool, and you know how I feel about Steve as grandpa. And God, Munich was right around the corner here. He did Munich, which is fucking awesome. Munich is so fucking cool. Steve, way to have some grit. But he said,
this is between Saving Private Ryan and Munich, isn't it?
I know. Many mecha have gone to the end of the world and never come back. That's why it's called Manhattan. No, that's not why it's called Manhattan, motherfuckers. You cannot try to convince me that's why it's called Manhattan. Also, when it says turn all the way, it says turn around, Joe, turn all the way around. And then he makes a right turn. They don't even turn all the way around. He just makes a right. Come on, guys. And then they go to where lions weep, and it's like I know that's in Pinocchio, but anyway, I'm up. I want to know more about the porn world that Jude Law lives in. That was pretty cool. I felt Shanghai-ish, but apparently it's Philadelphia.
It was like that was almost noir for me. Like it was gangster noir.
That was cool.
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
and I feel like
Blade Runner element
everyone had their own.
Cool.
Everyone had their own genre. Like this kid was living a fairy tale. Then Joe was living a fucking noir, where he was on the run.
Ready for this. I was ready for his story to become story B.
Yeah, right.
I was ready for Jude Law's story to be story A. I was ready for that.
That's fair. I was also ready. I could have used more Jude Law story.
I think you guys are tapping into something. Like, I'm really, really, really curious if there was a longer cut of this. It's already a long movie. It's like 2:23 or something like that. I think that there may have been 10 or 15 more minutes that incorporates that, where maybe him and Michael Kahn, Steven Spielberg's editor, even played with intercutting both of them as equal leads, trying to have a little bit more, not just the child have the lead, but also like someone who is going to have a consistent mecha experience that was going to influence the other lead, like the boy. I really was a little bummed when Jude went away, and I did. Sorry, no, you're good. You're good. How good is
have Jude learn the lesson we want our lead to learn, or have Jude sit there and start to learn love, but he doesn't know what it is because he's not the newest generation. But ultimately, what he really wanted was a mother, and then our child learns that lesson, or is that like let him?
This is. Tell me if I'm alone here, but I have made this point before, and it was so fucking clear to me when I was watching this movie this time. The thing I hate about sci-fi inherently, and I love good sci-fi, that's why it's so difficult to do it successfully, is that I am all up here whenever I know that there is an intellectual exercise happening. They are asking me to think about the idea of this occurring and what are the consequences, what are the problems. They're presenting them to you with certain plot elements and character perspectives, and you kind of can't help but just stay in your head a little bit or a lot, depending on who you are and where you're at in the movie, for how they're going to demonstrate all this stuff. And like, I don't like doing what ultimately what I think we're doing right now, which is saying like this could have worked better or that could have worked better. I kind of couldn't get out of that place when I was watching it, where I kept thinking about the logic of the question that William Hurt poses in the first 5 minutes of the film. Can you teach a robot to love? And I did start to think, like,
but also,
is Jude Law going to transcend this? And we're actually going to be like...
Straight after that, he compares himself to God. So that's a big red flag right there.
Well, so we know he's not our hero. Yeah. We know he's not our hero, and that's okay.
God, how good is he?
Also, straight after that, they pick a couple grieving the loss of their kid.
Oh yeah,
that's like cheating and callous. It's
get a cat.
Horrible.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I do like that it opens with a scientific and moral debate, because does anyone remember those?
For sure.
Like you spelled.
Yes, I do. And also they talk about global warming almost 25 years ago, and it's like yes, and then we're in this one apartment for 30 minutes after that. But yeah, I'm with you, Dave.
And not to linger on this, but a lot of movies have taken out images of the two towers.
Oh, and they kept it in, and it was disputed.
Oh, did not.
Like,
yeah. I thought that was.
They tried.
Not even for the DVD release.
They put it back in. Yeah, that's right. How about this? You guys ready? This movie is originally just called AI, but the A1 steak sauce commercials were so popular at the time. There were people would see AI and think it was A1 and think the movie was about steak sauce because A1 was so popular at the time because of those fucking commercials. Those commercials were everywhere.
I want to see a movie about intelligent steak sauce.
As not a good steak sauce.
It's not a good steak sauce?
Let me ask you guys a question.
No, it's not a good steak sauce, Dave.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad. When we got back...
Dave, it's like Cutter beer. How happy are you, Dave, that Foster's is your national export?
That's just low, man.
When we got back to William Hurt with his final scene where he... Jesus Christ.
Dave, oh my God. Oh my God, Dave!
You've killed me. You bastard.
Are the nuclear sirens going off? What's going on?
All right.
No, I've got this thing under my chair that hammers my asshole every time you say something.
Shut the Dave! Oh my God, it's like the smellies. It's like the smellies where the movie theaters that spray the scent when a certain thing happens. You get something in your butthole when I say something stupid.
Jesus Christ.
I did have hemorrhoids.
When we got back to William Hurt, and he explains to David, Haley Joel Osment, and is explaining to the audience.
Use my full name, I'm in trouble.
What the journey he just went on was remarkable. Shut the fuck up. The journey he just went on was remarkable because he finally proved that, and that was that line when he was like, you had a desire, it transcended logic, it basically told you to achieve something that you thought was illogical. And I thought that was a really well-put statement. But there was a bit of me that felt like, I don't know if I would call that a journey. Like it just didn't feel like that much stuff had really happened to him yet.
I'll grant you that.
I didn't really feel like he had didn't really feel like he had changed.
He went to
very much
Haddonfield, New
because of
Jersey,
it.
and then basically Philadelphia, and then came back.
Like, seriously, he got like put with a mom, and then she's like, let's go for a drive, just us. I'm taking you to a special farm upstate. Like, and off they went, and I was like, she's kind of cool, but nope, she's just one more New Yorker dumping her trash in Jersey.
Hey, we leave our trash in Staten Island, Dave.
Do you guys feel like, how many minutes in do you think it is before she drops him off?
30-some minutes. It was, but I actually felt like it was an hour, but it was like 34
For a
minutes.
lifelong commitment,
I
it
was
does not
keeping my
last
eye.
long.
But see, I felt like the exposition was too long. Like if that is exposition.
Oh.
Yes. We were in their apartment
I felt
for 30
by
minutes.
the time, I thought the whole point was going to be, we knew they were going to build to a point, at least it feels like it, where they make such a big deal appropriately of as soon as you imprint with him or he imprints on you or whatever it is, game over. So you know that like something weird's going to happen where they have to give him back or whatever. And you're waiting to see that journey begin. I guess, I don't know. I guess there was just a part of me that felt like by the time he was dropped off, I didn't know what he was going to learn. And I think by the end of it, what do you guys think he learned? Not to get too philosophical with a sci-fi movie. And I know we're talking about a movie and not the philosophy of it. But what
apparently
do you think he learned?
Apparently a robot can keep their eyes open for 2,000 years and be fine.
I don't think he learned much at all, to be honest. Like, when you look at it carefully, if those aliens had gone through his movie, like through his memory, the one thing they would have encountered straight up was the flesh fair. And yet they're still giving a glowing review.
Yeah,
like,
if I'm the alien, I'm like, wait a second, what is this?
Whoa, hang on a minute. It's like the flesh fair reminded me of, remember when they did that experiment with the GPS robot? And it made it all the way through Canada and then lasted 3 days in the fucking US before someone like trashed the shit out of it and left it on the side of the road? That's what that reminded me of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, they did an experiment. They GPS this thing and made it all the way across Canada.
It's so good.
And then lasted 3 fucking days in the US before someone like fucked it up and left it on the side of the road.
That is so.
Basically, everything
so
from Canada turns into Death Race 2000.
Yes.
That a movie from 1976 we watched.
Yep, I remember
the same
that.
year we
So, all
watched
right,
Stanley, I think, Dave.
So we kind of said, I'm not sure if he learned, but I don't know what he learned either, really. Maybe it's to love and loss is better than not to love at all. But I am curious, and Jeff just walked away, so I do want to ask him after he comes back. But what do you did you learn?
Jeff's just
did you
pissing off
learn
the balcony.
anything about, what do you feel like you learned about the human condition? The best sci-fi kind of, it's not that you maybe learn it for the first time, but you know what I'm saying? Like it shines lighter, it puts something about the human condition in a different perspective. I guess I kept waiting to see like the boom. I kept waiting to see like that clarity come through, or to make something poetic out of it and not really have it literal, but something that was going to be a little bit more abstract. And what did you get out of it that way? Did anything touch you that way? What touched you? Who hurt you, David? Who hurt you?
Just bring out the doll. So I feel like this wasn't about the humans, it was about the robots. The humans were done by the time by the time he's even created, they've already flooded fucking Manhattan. It's underwater. So like it's like humans have already fucked up the planet. They're on the way out, and I feel like the robots are the one thing that are going to come through and outlive us all. And I feel like that was the thing in amongst his search for like becoming human and being loved, which was never going to happen.
All right, so that is, I feel the same way. And again, I want to poke Jeff's brain with it too. In a way, the actual execution of the flesh fair was so over the top and cheesy that in terms of production, I think that was maybe the least enjoyable sequence for me. But in terms of the story and the philosophy, that was the strongest. Seeing robots treated that badly, made me feel something.
I will give them one thing. They called tiny handheld microphones. Like
that was cool.
Yeah. But a lot of
like influencers, like social media influencers.
All of those robots as well were animatronics too, which and they were so well done. When they got ripped apart, you felt it. Like you felt bad.
So I guess I just
do you believe that they all would have started throwing the shit at Brendan Gleeson that quickly?
I mean,
I feel like there's somebody in that
feel
crowd that'd be like,
beanbags.
yeah, fuck this
They're little
boy.
beanbags.
Yeah,
I feel like
that happened so
there was
fast. That was
the
cheesy.
point there was a line. There's a
beanbags.
line they won't go over, and all it takes is one person to stand up and throw a beanbag in the right direction. Keep that in
like,
So
mind,
that
everyone.
was-
I just
And
think
again,
it's too on the nose.
That was where. But hold on. But again, I know. I'm
Dude, we're
getting
talking about a
frustrated
story
just that
where-
we keep going back to this story and philosophy,
we're
and not
talking
the
about a story
execution
where
of a
this
film.
is
but-
Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket is a male robot hooker. So
I know.
it's-
Right. But hold on. This might be the story, the short story, and whatever. It might not just be Steven Spielberg and his screenplay, but that theme, that is so clear in that moment. I thought that it was going to somehow, extend and expand on that, and it was going to have some kind of ripple effect.
Yeah.
And I guess, let me ask the
But
question another way.
It wasn't. It was a
After
set
the
piece.
world, after that tiny world learns that lesson, what else do they learn? How else is the world changed?
No, he escapes their
Or
world. They move on.
He changed by, yeah. I guess just moving beyond that. I really just didn't understand.
That's what reminded me of
why we
I
were
Was
watching.
Afraid. They like that piece reminded me of when he ends up with all of the theater people.
The theater,
Yeah.
the forest,
Yeah.
amazing.
That was a highlight of that. But Dave, you really did love this movie, and a lot of critics have
I
watched
did
it a second
enjoy
time and
this,
loved
yeah.
it. So what is the thing for you that you latch onto that's going to carry you with this loving memory, this loving feeling
Well,
that
no,
John
I'm
is
not- I'm
trying
not
to pry
saying-
out of you so bad?
I'm
kidding, John.
saying as an older watcher this time, I understand the allegories better. Like when I watched it first, I was looking for science fiction. I was looking for robots. I wasn't looking for this much story, so I didn't understand what was going on.
So you feel like you got a lot of story.
I feel like I got a lot of. I mean, I got more from it than I did the first time I watched it. That's for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's a lot of story there. It's a very simple story,
Yeah.
but also the fun I had was like watching my wife's face when they suddenly jumped 2,000 years forwards, which is a gigantic
That
spoiler.
was a
so everyone-
surprise.
Yeah.
That was a surprise.
and,
I have to agree.
also,
I wish it wasn't.
have you read the
voiceover.
Have you read the story about what
yeah.
happened there with the last, like from that point onwards, where John Williams wrote a 7-minute score,
Yeah.
and
Piano
Spielberg
concerto.
re-edited the film to match the score. He was like, "We're not cutting
Just
the
like he
score.
did
We're gonna."
for
yeah.
just like he did for Close Encounters. Yeah.
Mm.
It was a piano concerto. Yeah.
Hmm.
Although I have to
That may
say, as
have
soon as
been a
that piano
mistake.
started, as soon as that piano started, I was like, okay, 7 minutes till the end, and it was definitely longer than 7 minutes, but that's okay. I would say who's counting, but I was counting. I was hoping it was only 7 minutes left. But it was,
I think
You'll get away with that. Also,
I will. I know. I
one
will
other
say
thing.
this. I'm going to make a hold on.
Go.
I'm going to make this point because I'm saying this with enormous respect to someone who has made literally one of the most fascinating technological horror movies of all time, Jurassic Park. Like he has played in the world of futuristic technology that is not full of sentimentality and gushy optimism. It's full of fucking horror, nightmares, and cynicism.
but that apparently was Kubrick's optimism. Yeah. Anyway.
Which is I don't know. I guess that's the main thing that I'm going to take away from this is that tonally, I think the intention was at odds with the subject matter, and I just don't know if it ever overcame it for me. It felt too safe to explore this kind of material with that kind of sentimentality.
Yeah. There's one thing I did like that. They bookended the story. They started with a kid frozen, and like it wasn't at the beginning of the story, but the story began and ended with someone being frozen.
What do you think he's doing right now?
Haley Joel?
What,
Yeah,
the frozen
that
kid?
alien.
He's sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the fucking
The robot or
his
the alien?
robot version. What happened at the end of it? How did the movie black out? He said, "I love you," and he hugged her, and then what happened? What's the very last frame?
The light's going out in the apartment.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's hugging her, and the light we pull out. I love that set.
And I
That
think
was-
he,
that
and I
was
think he
cool.
like
The
bl-
house.
he like blinked, and that means he's real. Something like that.
Yeah, because he never
He
blinked.
and that means he's
Well, no, he never
That's
blinked
so-
throughout the movie.
Yeah, that was
Oh
his
my
choice.
god, is that the tell? Is that the spinning top? And
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
You know what? Here, I'm gonna give one more thing Kubrick would have done.
Okay.
So Haley Joel and Jude Law, and they didn't blink. But you know what they did do? They did these jerky movements. But if you look at the frame, they're moving. I feel like Kubrick wouldn't have let him move around in the frame. He would have let him be. If you're going to be human, do it. You can't have them be jerky in movement, but then also sway with the wind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway,
Well,
but yeah, I think that's
this
it.
did actually pioneer the virtual studio too, by the way. Like
This was the first. Wait, this is the
first one to use computer previs. Yeah.
previs. Yeah.
Computer previs. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, we're not
Hey, guys,
talking
guess
about the
what?
volume. I'm talking about they gave him a device that let him set up shots within the 3D set. So, yeah.
Are you ready for another?
Yeah.
Are you ready for another Kubrick Spielberg connection? When work began on the movie in 1993, with Jesus Christ, who was that?
Was not
That
me.
was me.
Whose small intestine did I just hear? Whose
Was that
duodenum did
loud?
I just
It
hear?
was such a
Yeah,
quiet burp.
Dave, don't edit that out. You got to keep it in. When
I can control the
when work
AI.
began on the movie in 1993, Joseph Mazzello was cast as David. Joseph Mazzello is very famous for being the little boy in Jurassic Park, which was filming in 1993, came out in
Oh
1994.
wow, weird. Wow, cool.
He also co-founded Facebook and The Social Network.
Holy. Oh
He's
shit!
in The Social
I
Network.
totally forgot that
Yeah.
was it with the twins. Yeah.
Dave's gone. Dave's out. No, actually, he was actually
Wow.
not with the twins. He was with Zuckerberg, and he went. I think he was the one who fell off the roof in when he went to California.
Ouch.
On purpose. That was in the movie.
It's my claim to fame too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're the dickhead that
Well,
fell off the
ultimately,
roof
I
in the
think
Gold Coast.
here's my takeaway from this movie. I think it's, even though you're saying about the critics that some have reversed their stance, I think this movie is very much worth watching because it's one of the, emeritus filmmakers of his generation that is touching a very controversial subject matter. And I think he ended up making a very controversial movie because of what I said.
I mean, it's
He brings
fantastic
an emotional tone to it
filmmakers.
that I think is unusual. And so I still think I would encourage people to watch it because I think he challenges you emotionally in relative to the subject matter. And I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, this definitely
How
doesn't.
fun would this movie be?
Definitely doesn't end where it starts.
It's
Like,
true.
yeah.
How fun?
No,
How fun would
yeah.
this movie be if the Teddy was actually Ted with the Seth MacFarlane's voice?
I'm wondering, is that where you got the
Hilarious.
idea? Because Teddy's like my fucking hero in this movie.
Teddy's
It's a
awesome.
great character. I loved that character too. And I don't know if he comes from the book or what, but
He's just
I really, really
relentless
enjoyed
and a little
Teddy.
bit grumpy. And apparently,
I will break.
Yeah.
I will break. A little
Oh,
bit like
so good.
Friendly Hal. I mean, he lived a long time
exactly,
too.
exactly.
a long time.
Maybe that was
that
it.
even
Maybe
the same
Kubrick
guy's
was like,
voice? Who did his voice?
yeah.
It sounded like the dude's from 2001's voice. I wonder if that was
I
a
think,
coincidence.
Well, they did mimic
Maybe
one
that's
of the
why Kubrick was like,
2001
"Fuck, I'm gonna get
lines.
too many."
Say that again.
What line?
There was there was one line where he's talking to David. And there's a line there they mimic from 2001. It was a bit of
I
an
mean, he says
homage.
Dave a lot, right? He's saying
Yeah.
like he's referring to him and
David,
saying
yeah.
Dave. And
Yeah.
What the fuck is
Wow.
that guy's name? Hold on, wait. Why can't we?
That's
Why is it so hard to find his name?
We want Teddy.
It's like nowhere on the list. Hold on. Where's Teddy? What the fuck? Why isn't it in the main list on IMDb?
I
Well,
don't
while
know.
you find that, I think we're gonna go ahead and wind this down.
Sure,
This has
yeah.
been very fun conversation. This is AI, artificial intelligence,
I
controversial.
don't
This
think
is
you
good.
had
We've been
fun talking about this. I think you hated this movie. That's what it. That's my
who
gut.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Jack
I knew I'd
Angel.
have fun talking
It
about this
wasn't me.
movie. I knew I'd have fun talking about this movie. I had fun talking about this movie. This is great. This is
Jack
great.
Angel is the man who voiced big career
It's a good name.
voicing cartoons and stuff. Okay, cool.
Cool.
All right. Glad we watched it. 2001.
2000. I love that Dave loved it and John was like, "Okay, I'm going to prove you wrong." I love it. This is great.
did.
This
No,
is
I
really
just
great.
I still loved
it's
it.
worth discussing.
I mean, I didn't love it. I
I love
enjoyed
when
it.
Steven Spielberg. I love when Steven Spielberg makes challenging, controversial, not super commercially successful movies. There's something interesting about that to me. In every other aspect, his sensibility is nearly out of the park every single time. So the few movies that he makes that have not hit, I'm very fascinated by.
I blame Kubrick.
Sure. All right,
For
get your
dying.
finger out. Get your finger off the button. Just fucking go.
John was one step ahead of me. All right, we got to wind it down there, people. That has been our conversation on AI, artificial intelligence, and 2001. It is time for us to get into our almost final segment, what you've been watching. But first, we have to spin the random year generator so we know what we're going to be talking about next week. We've got a short week this week.
Short week.
So, because it's only a 6-day week. We're recording on Monday, next week's Sunday. So we got one fewer day to watch. So, John, Dave's going to spin the year here, but what guess do you think you have for what year is going to get spun?
2009.
Ooh, good year. I'm going to go with 1973.
Okay. I think you're going to win this one. I believe in you. 19.
Right, it's a 1.
It's already a 19.
It's a 9. It's a 4.
Way off.
Oh, we're going back in time. 1942.
That's appropriate.
Wartime.
Wow, wartime
Let's go
film.
back.
All right. Actually, this is great because there aren't going to be that many options for us to choose from, which means we'll have a very nice, easy, short conversation. We'll listen to some Dasein for 10 seconds, and we're going to tell you... Oh, shit, wait. At the end of this episode. But first, we got to do what you've been watching.
Jesus.
Fuck. Dave, what have you been watching?
Well, as in the lead up to Halloween, I watched Signs, the Shyamalan film.
Did you catch the scene where they try to nail the door closed, but it actually closes the other way? Did you find that scene?
Yes.
Oh, no.
But also,
man.
I must say, I went and saw this at the cinema, and it has one of the best ambient soundscapes I think I've ever heard in a film, with the cornfields and stuff, because the corn.
Who did it?
You were in the cornfield. I'm not sure. You're in the cornfield, and the alien, like, twittering around him was like coming from exactly where it should be spatially, and it was really.
Were you talking about the sound design or the score?
Sound design, the mix.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, it was really good.
James Newton Howard does all of his movies. I like the score of that movie.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
score's great, but this was like the spatial positioning when you were in the cornfield in the theater fucked me up. It was great.
Yeah,
maybe enjoy
I just love when he was like, let's just do E.T.
And just wait.
Come on.
They're in a cornfield.
And
the alien's coming. Come on.
Yeah, and also I watched the first 12 minutes of Smile, finally.
The first Smile?
Yeah, the first Smile.
That's a pretty scary first 12 minutes. What do you think of that scene?
Fucking hell it is. So I turned it off and I'm waiting for daylight. I stopped watching it.
I need to go see the Smile
watching
too. I want to go see it in the movie.
Yeah, I stopped watching it 2 days ago. I need a hug.
Pretty good scene. I heard they made that as it's like the proof of concept. I think they made that as a proof of concept first. I think they refilmed it, but that was how they got the movie made.
Probably.
That was
I mean,
word on the street.
Yeah, sweet. Because Saw did the same thing.
Really good.
And that
really
took
good.
off.
I love how psychological it is.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I finally get around to watching the rest of it, which might be tomorrow. I'm going to watch the rest of it tomorrow.
All right, we'll see.
Bullshit. Put your big boy pants on and watch that thing. I don't think you can make it, Dave. It gets scarier and scarier until the last 10 minutes. Is that it? Did you watch any other fun Halloween movies?
No, I was dead this week. I was sick and working.
I'm sorry, buddy. You guys remind me. Did I tell you I watched The Conjuring and Sinister 2 weeks ago? Did I remember to say that?
Yep.
I think so.
All right. Did watch that.
And I never remember the end of these episodes either.
Sinister, when we watched that, we held a movie screening on the cruise ship I worked on once, and we offered free pairs of undies if you turned up.
A lot of people were on Jump Watch, huh? Nobody going back deck that night.
That's good. So I watched, and I had not watched it in a few years, but I think I told you guys I was going to watch it. I rewatched The Shining, and man, it's magnificent.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had such a good rewatch. Earphones in. It was fucking amazing, dude. Amazing. God, that movie's incredible. Masterpiece. And then, because of your comment, Dave, I immediately, I went straight to it and pressed play on the director's cut of Mike Flanagan's Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
Which is on Prime. I think it's on Prime Video now, is where the director's cut lives if you're a subscriber. So it's got about 30 extra minutes. It's about 3 hours exactly, as opposed to the 2:27 or whatever runtime of the theatrical release.
With ads or without ads?
Without
ads?
Without ads.
3 hours without ads. Fuck, I'll take that.
3 hours without ads, and it is a better movie. And I know I might be in the school that says that about most director's cuts, but it is a better movie. It doesn't feel as there's anyone who knows knows that movie and knows the lore of The Shining and stuff. When you read or watch Dr. Sleep and you're introduced to this cult of people who suck people's shining, there's a little cheesy monster element to that. It doesn't feel as cheesy because the movie progresses with them slower. And just everything that happens to Danny feels a lot more. It feels the timing of it just works a lot better. You feel like you're watching characters and not a plot. And there's something about the pacing of it that just made more sense to me. So I would strongly recommend anybody who liked that movie in the theaters, go to Prime Video and watch the director's cut. It was fun. And then I watched the 1978 version of Salem's Lot, that TV miniseries that's in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Which is also
have you watched the new movie yet?
I don't want to because I saw a trailer for it. It looks like such a cheesy monster movie. Like, it's not the same plot at all.
I feel like it's going to be. I don't know. I'm going to give it a watch this week. After Smile.
Too. My favorite thing about that book is that you don't realize it's a vampire. You don't realize it's about Dracula. For the longest time, it's not about that. It's about the disintegration of the psychology of everybody in this tiny town.
We have only seen a trailer, so.
I know, but he's like fighting hordes of vampires in the trailer.
Well, he does infect a few. There's a reason the town burns down.
Maybe I'll watch it. But I think there might be a reason it went straight to Max and didn't have a visit in the theaters. But
that's almost possible.
I know. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm precious with my Stephen King adaptations.
Me too.
The Shining is a masterpiece.
I watched The Dark Tower,
Jeff,
so you didn't have to. So.
All right, I watched 2 films. Not a lot of TV shows.
I forgot they made The Dark Tower. Jeff, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't ever watch it.
I'm going to finish tonight the series about the Zodiac Killer, where they got the guy that Jake Gyllenhaal plays in the movie, and he does a lot of interviews, and they talk about a lot of this stuff. So the Zodiac, it's on Netflix. It's like a docu-series, true crime.
Like, did they figure out who it is finally?
Yeah, I mean, they're assuming it's the guy from the movie.
They're assuming
it's
dude.
Yeah.
I came home from this weekend.
They're assuming, and they're fucking right. They're assuming, but they're fucking right.
My dog sitter had been watching that. I was like, oh, what is that? I just thought it was like some old documentary. It's new.
Yeah.
Dude, you have a dog sitter? That's the most LA thing you've said on the show.
Shut the fuck up. I had to go out of town.
And and while the dog sitter was there, they stole his catalytic converters. That's the most LA thing you ever said. The guy that Jake Gyllenhaal plays in the movie that narrates this, he wears the James Taylor hats.
Yep.
You know those little hats that like people wear inside and outside and all the time. Like you make that decision. I'm going to wear these hats from now on. Okay, so I saw 2 films. Angela and I wanted to watch a scary movie for Halloween. So we watched Smile. We watched Smile, Dave. We made it all the way to the end of the movie.
Fuck you.
And it was really fun. It was a really fun movie. It's really fucking fun.
It is fun.
We
watched both the babysitters again.
What fuck did? Oh yeah, again?
Well, I'd seen them, but Therese hadn't. So,
Jesus.
like, I was watching it for the second time. She watched it for the first time, and had a great time.
Well, to swap that, Angela watched for the second time, and I watched for the first time a different Cary Grant, Alfred Hitchcock film. We watched Suspicion.
Oh,
how was it?
It's pretty fun. It was really cool.
Good? I've never seen that one.
It's actually cool because it's called Suspicion, but I was watching the movie for a bit, and I was like, what am I supposed to be suspicious of? And I thought that was pretty cool because it's pretty, it's pretty cool. And then things start to like slowly happen and plot. But it was just like a charming 90-minute, 100-minute movie. But it had some suspense in there too. So yeah, Suspicion, Alfred Hitchcock, filmed in Britain. Pretty fun.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
Nice.
All right, people.
How are you guys feeling? Because we are about to move into, every year we talk about it and we make fun of it, but now Halloween is technically over. And we no longer live in a world where Oscar movies come out before Halloween. It is like, I feel like we're coming into the last 3 months of this like Oscar season year.
Yeah.
Fucking November, December, and January. Are you guys ready to switch gears? Because I had some fun watching some horror movies over this past month. I watched mostly stuff in that genre and some shows. I'm excited to switch gears into drama.
I'm ready because I don't know if there's any momentum. I mean, like I've seen some things that have momentum in LA, but as far as the rest of the country, I don't think anybody.
I feel like there's going to be some brutal surprises drop.
Sing Sing?
Yeah. Sing Sing was fun, but I don't know.
All right.
I can't wait to see it. I'm gonna love it, but I don't know if there's no like best picture contenders yet. Like
I know. Well, I'm trying to be positive. Positive Film Podcast. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to pick our movie, and we'll be right back.
If we don't pick Bambi, we're fucked. And we're back.
I love when they start before I'm ready. We're back.
Guys, I'm so pissed we're not doing Bambi. I'm actually pissed. Like, Thumper's the shit. That fucking owl in Bambi's my shit.
Dude, to tell
Dude,
you,
I had such a crush on that female rabbit
Oh, yeah.
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was so
Her
jealous
eyes
of
and the
Thumper.
flower, I was like,
I was sitting there. I was like, Thumper,
I
go
can't
get it.
remember much of Bambi. I was drunk when I watched it. So
When it came out,
Coming home
you
from
were
the
drunk when
war.
it came out, and you
He
watched
was
it.
on
I was 4. but
honorably
still.
discharged.
Guys, there's so many good movies that came out this year. Obviously, Casablanca comes to mind, but no, we have decided to go with William Wyler's Oscar-winning film, Mrs. Miniver. Are you guys
Yeah.
excited to talk about Mrs. Miniver
Didn't
next
see
week?
that coming, did you?
I am very excited to talk about Mrs. Miniver. This has been on my list for a long time.
It's really, really, really fun. So there you
Greer
go.
Garson.
We're going to talk about Greer Garson, who's come up on the show several times, including Goodbye, Mr. Chips, 1939, and she would go on to be nominated for 5 Oscars in a row. And she got her
Solid
start in
effort.
Hollywood in her 30s, which is fucking awesome. Mrs. Miniver next week. Can't wait to see that in Film Fans. Anything else you two knuckleheads want to say?
Nah, fuck it.
Fuck you all.
No.
Next week, Film Fans. Can't wait.
Dude, there's a buzz all button.